Dr. Decks here. Today, guess what? We are laying more deck. And we're on the upper deck now, so we've kind of buttoned up the lower deck as far as the cuts and the shape and everything there. We just have the trim to do. So we're gonna finish laying this upper deck as well, and then we'll go from there. So if you get something out of today's video, or you like what you see, or you just feel like being nice, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell icon if you want to be notified every time we're putting out fresh content. Also, while I got you, don't forget to check out Dr. Deck's Masterclass. Learn everything you need to know about bending deck boards. All right, let's get to it. All right, so what you see here is a product called drdecks. And drdecks is a waterproof gutter spline. And I've got these two spots on this upper deck that are actually 2 layers of 3/4 inch marine plywood. And it was how I had to kind of frame the edges of this deck to get these curves to work out. So what I decided to do is not only do we have a bladder and rubber butyl underneath the decking, we're putting in drdecks just so the water doesn't really have a chance to even get to the rubber butyl. So there are gonna be a couple channels and troughs where water's gonna come. There's a surface border that's going to match the lower deck border, so that's definitely going to be a spot where water can be coming through the deck. And so we just want to make sure that most of the rainwater doesn't permeate, even get a chance to get to the rubber butyl, and that's what this stuff's going to do. It fits in between the deck boards so that there's a waterproof area between where the gap would normally go. And you can kind of see the spline, there's like barbs on it. And as long as this product is compressed properly, it's 100% waterproof product. And it works well with our Cortex plugging system because you have to face screw it and then you plug it and then it's done. And then you have a waterproof surface. I'm making a spline so that my outside deck board, because they actually make a wider deck board now that I could have used for the outside of this deck, but I only needed 26 inches, so I'm trying to configure a spline, which this one's a little too thick. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna fit inside of this groove and fit inside the next groove, and it's gonna hold these two boards together, and I'm gonna glue it. I'm gonna glue it together for the 26 inches, and then I'll be able to cut that before I start putting screws and everything, because I have this special piece of masonite underneath all my decking, so when I cut my curve, I'm not cutting through all the bladder and all the EPDM pond liner and everything. So I have about an 1/8 inch of play, so it allows me to get a clean cut all the way around. Then I gotta pull all the masonite out, and then I can finish screwing down the deck. And this is like the outside wedge of the deck. I'm only gonna be using maybe 1 inch of this, but I made it 1.5 inches, so I have a little bit of room to run the saw on when I'm cutting around this curve. So that's what I'm doing right now, is creating a piece of an extension for the outside edge of the deck. So this is the first time I've had to do it on this job. Everything else has been pretty much full pieces, which has been really nice. So unfortunately for this one spot, I gotta make something really custom for it, but no big deal. Just another day at the office. You guys ever heard of 2P10? No? It's basically a great PVC super glue and activator, which accelerates the curing process. So right now, this super glue, I can take this piece and pull it in and out. But once I hit it with some activator, and I'm probably only gonna do the bottom. Because if it gets on the top of the board, it can discolor it. Wait 10 seconds. 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator, 5, 6, 7, 10. All right. It's done. Most of this is getting cut away, but I had to have this little wedge. So I'm not gonna leave a gap here. I'm just gonna glue it tight because I think that'll look nicer and last longer over the long haul. Over the long haul. Over the roll. The Henry Rollins band. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to get this all over the decking because it can discolor it if you're not careful. You just want that chemical reaction though for it to harden. You can kind of hear it and see it bubble. You see that bubbly action? And it kind of makes a crackling sound. And sometimes some fumes. Alright, so we have the first section of this upper deck pinned, all screwed off, all cut, and all the masonites removed. So Nazif's finishing up the Cortex plugging system, and I'm going to start setting our first couple boards in place for the next section of the deck, which is over here. I cannot stress enough, if you're going to walk over there, to please watch your step, okay? I've actually fallen off a deck this high before because I thought I was safe. When you're building decks and you have boards that are hanging off the end of the deck 3 feet, 4 feet, you can get really convoluted really quickly on where you can and can't step. So I always try to be very careful as I'm laying out my deck boards, because I've gotten in a rush in the past, stepped where I shouldn't have, stepped right on 3 boards that were hanging 4 feet off a deck, proceeded to fall 8 feet, landed feet first, almost broke both my ankles, and if it wasn't for the decking intermingled with me, probably would have. So that kind of stuff out there is scary, and that's why we block off all these doors to our clients, because most building inspectors want you to block a door or put up caution tape. Caution tape's great, but caution tape can be, I've seen people go right underneath it. They've put plywood out on the frame deck with no decking out and put their deck chairs out there before. And I'm just not crazy about that because I'm licensed and bonded and insured, and that can mean my contractor's bond or license if that client decides to do something stupid like that and fall off the deck. So I try to do my due diligence when I'm working to not allow that to happen, at least on my watch, because it's happened to me personally. So I've learned lessons. I'm feeling the pain now for something I did 15 years ago. My ankles are sore, my Achilles rupture, things like that. So safety alert, man. If you got boards overhanging a deck, just make everybody aware of it and just don't let anybody walk near it. Man, I pinched my finger so hard. I don't know if you can see that, man, but that's a blood blister, like subset, I don't know, 1/8 inch deep into my finger. Ouch. It keeps bugging me. It feels like a splinter, but it's not. It's a blood blister. I don't even remember how it happened. Oh, I pinched it on a deck board. Ah, man. Don't do that. All right, guys. Well, that's all that DJ Studio Man has time for us today. But hey, if you like what you saw, you learned a little something, you got educated today, or you just liked it, if you like what we do, click that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell icon if you want to be notified every time we put out new content, too. And if you want to learn how to bend deck boards and create master artisan type level stuff, go check out drdecks Masterclass. Worth every penny. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.